Hey guys, Josh here from Physique Essentials and the Elite Physique Project. I hope you're well. You are joining me today with a special mate of mine, Brett. Mate, how are you?
Very good, mate.
Excellent. It's good to chat. So we've been through this process together and you've achieved some amazing levels of success. But before we even get into all of that, if you just want to give a quick Soldiers 5 on who you are, and we'll have a chat.
Brett, I work at a concrete plant, drive a truck, all sorts of things, very busy life. Got a wife, two kids that ride horses. So very busy life. Come into it, this setting with Josh, well overweight, very sluggish, very tired. At the end of the tether, I suppose you'd say, needed to do something. Life is getting too hard. Like, it's not hard as in simple things that we used to do. It got very difficult. Everyday life, running around with kids and things like that. So we had to make a life change. So this was the last straw for where we ended up. What we had to do, we had to, as a group in our family, we had to make decisions, but the decision was ultimately mine, no one else's, because at the end of the day, if someone else is making the decision, it's not your decision and you'll fall off it. But I made the decision, committed, and it's been probably the best 9 weeks so far, 10 weeks that we've had.
Oh, that's awesome. And you share so many. We're going to have to go kind of unpack that, because there's so many big things that you shared. Like the first thing that you said, like you're busy. And again, it's synonymous. Like so many guys we speak to, and they're just busy, like just busy in life. You know what I mean? They're taking care of business with work and kids and family responsibilities and partners and all that sort of stuff. And we find that we've got, very little time for ourselves, or we feel that we've got very little time for ourselves at the end of the day to be able to dedicate to ourselves, to improve ourselves. So is that how you felt?
Yeah, that was it. We sort of just went, what, you get busy doing all your work stuff because it was most important. Mm-hmm. Then you come home, and then you go, well, I've got to do this for the kids because they're here for that. And then you've got all your other chores and things at home, mowing the lawns, tidying the house. Oh, we've got to go here with the kids with horses. And in the end, you just don't do anything for yourself. You just go, oh, I can't, no, I haven't got time for that. I haven't got time for this. But over 9 weeks, 10 weeks, we've been at it. It's not, you don't need a huge amount of time. Mm. You're always thinking you're so busy. But in the end, you're not. There's a lot of times where, like, my journey here is I exercise 3 times a week now.
Yep.
And that takes me half an hour to 45 minutes. Once you get dialed in and get it programmed to and used to what you're doing, and you get quicker at it, you learn it. And I train at home. I don't go to a gym. The theory was, in the beginning, I wasn't motivated enough to train at home. I used to go to CrossFit and then the social side of it was good, and I'd come home. And then I thought, all right, I need to go back there because I'll pay for it and I'll go, and then it's a more social thing. But I've learned in 9 weeks that training at home actually was better because the kids were here. My wife was here. My wife actually trained Kareena. She trained with us. So she got on board. She enjoyed it. The kids, they take 40 minutes out of down there. We have tea on, cooking while we're training. The kids do their thing. They don't, the kids don't know that you're gone for 40 minutes training. Life in the end now, it's, and the evolving of, once you get going and it happens, how better and more time that you have. So the things that the things that you think it'd take you a long time before because you had no energy, you had to get the motivation to get off the lounge. Like the first thing I do when I got home was sit on the lounge and generally fall asleep for half an hour, 40 minutes, maybe an hour. And then you would do nothing. Now it's come home, kids ride, you get prepared for the next day, jump in and train, and it's all done. And you're going, oh, well, I've got plenty of time now because you've got that energy. You've got that change of, I'm not a goal.
Isn't it ironic that we've had the time the whole time? It's always been there, but we just get busy being busy and we get busy doing everything else for everyone else, forgetting about ourselves, because we're not in a position where we are looking after ourselves. What you just said then, a task that would, they were taking longer than they are now. So you're actually spending more time doing them. But the biggest thing that you said just then is, I know, again, like we can have this preconception that I'm going to be investing so much time within myself. So you've said, so training's taking less than 2 hours a week. But the thing that really hit home more than anything is being a dad, like, so you're always there for the kids and you're always looking after them and you always think that you've got to tend to every need. But the reality is when you take out a little bit of time for yourself each week, they don't even realize you're gone.
No.
So you're able to go and look after you, and they're just like, oh, where'd you go?
Yeah, and that's what it is. And you get this thing, it's more like I suppose a mental challenge. You put these, and I think it's this thing over time where it's always, we've got to do this, we've got to do this, but it's not that. You've got to, it's a bit of a mental challenge. Well, hang on a minute, if I don't do that for them, are they missing out? And then, like you say, they walk past and go, oh, where have you been?
Yeah.
They haven't even noticed you're gone or what you're doing. Or like ours, oh yeah, they're out there doing that. So they'll go and wander off and do their own thing. Like they don't miss it. And in the end, because you're feeling better, you're moving more, they're more interacted. So when you go and do something with them, the time where you'd have to spend, say for instance, if you spent 2 hours with them before and they'd feel, oh, you didn't really do much, you just walked around, you're lethargic, you're doing that. Because now you've got more energy, you spend an hour with them and they go, oh, that was awesome. Dad was running around doing this, doing things, he's involved. So then they're happy after an hour. What do you do for the other hour that you had before? Because you've got an hour now, because they're going, oh, well, I've had enough now. All right, no worries. I've got an hour then to myself because they're exhausted and they're happy and they're fulfilled with the time. It's quality of time, doing things at a quality because you've got more time to give them for yourself.
Yep.
But you've made time for yourself, so you feel better, and everyone. It's a win-win. Like it's,
and it compounds massively forward. Like, would you say then, back in the day where you may have used I've got to do everything for them and I'm always busy doing all sort of stuff as the excuse of not being able to look after yourself? It was just simply the excuse you presented.
And that's probably, that's more what it is. You come up with excuses to not do the things you need to do for yourself. Oh, there's all so much else to do. But if you don't, and as we've learned over the journey, if you don't do things for yourself, then you can't do things for others because you yourself can't do it because you can't, you're not physically capable of doing the things that you need to do. If you don't do it for yourself, then you can't do the other things.
And it's one of those things, like when we're struggling, we try and give even more effort because we know that we're struggling. So I'll try harder and try harder. But if you're only operating at 50% of your potential and you're giving your absolute best, but you're still falling short.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So then we try and think, okay, I've got to invest more time. Then I've definitely got no time to look after myself. I've just got to keep giving more and more. And as you said, quantity versus quality, it all just comes down to that quality. So you got to be able to make that shift to be able to put yourself first. And I think that's one of the things that has really, played a massive part in your lifestyle, just being able to take ownership of what was going on and the fact that you needed to do something. Yeah. And it wasn't just about, I need to lose some weight or I need to go on a diet or I need a training program or whatever. It's, I need to change something. I need to change my lifestyle and the way I live.
And that was it. Like if I wanted to just lose weight per se, I could have just gone on the man shakes or things like that. I could have just done that to lose weight, like, and then was weight the answer? No, it's not, because it's all the other things, like your whole perception of things, your whole, how you view things is vastly different with what I've learned to where I was before.
Yep.
I'd been down the path of losing weight before, but I put on more than what I had before because I was still doing. You can go on it for 8 or 9 weeks and do what you want to do and think, oh, yeah, great, I've lost the weight. But then in a month's time, you're still back to the same old habits that you were before, the things that got you to there. Whereas now you're going, oh, have I got that? No, I'll read that first and have a look at it. I'll have a look at that. I don't need to go and buy 4 dim sums and potato cakes for an afternoon. I don't need that. I'll either eat an apple or be prepared and take something with you. I don't think I've bought, well, I don't think, I know I haven't bought any takeaway food since January 1, I think.
Wow.
Before then. No, it was over Christmas because we had our meeting before Christmas and that one there. I haven't eaten any takeaway food per se as since then. And it's a goal shift, not a goal shift, but a mind shift of where you've got to be. And you just we use the word accountability for what you eat, like what goes in, to what you move and it comes back to that. So,
and that's what I mean. Like I've never said to you once that you can't eat the takeaway. I've just simply presented it for what it is, and then you have to make a choice, and that's it. Like if you're busy in a truck and you've pulled over in a truck stop on the side of the road or whatever, like you're only going to be accountable to yourself, and that's it. To me on the weekend, but to yourself. Like no one's going to know what you choose.
No,
but
it's not a lifestyle thing either, where you're eating lettuce and carrots. I still eat a vast variety of foods and things like that. I'm just more selective of what it is. I'm still eating.
We just got to be aware. We got to be aware of what we're eating, and also to the reasons why. And again, as you said before, like what we tend to do is we tend to quantify, the struggle and the pain and all the angst and the frustration as a number. And then we think in terms of, if I just lose that weight, that will cure the problem. But the problem with that line of thinking is the excess weight is just simply the symptom of all the lifestyle changes. So the poor eating at work, coming home, sleeping on the couch, trying to do everything else for everyone else and not for ourselves. So yes, we can go on a diet. We can lose a couple of kilos. By default, if you're carrying 10 kilos less, you're going to have a little bit more energy. That's it, because you're not kind of, you're not dragging it around all day. But the reality is, as you know, like all those underlying habits are still going to be there, the same decisions, the same choices. You haven't learned anything in the process, hence why it's not a matter of if the diet fails, it's going to be a matter of when. And then all those habits are still there, simmering underneath the surface. You get the taste back for the things that you haven't eaten. Then all of a sudden, not only do you put the weight on that you've lost, but you've chucked on another 5 kilos for good measure, thinking, oh shit, here it goes again. I got to start.
And then too, like even because I'm on this journey now, my kids and my wife, like Kareena and the 2 girls, they actually get on board with it too. Like they go, oh, what are you doing there? And you'll go, I'm doing this. Oh, right. Why you do that? So you explain to them and they get the picture too. And the whole circle involves everyone. Like, because my lifestyle changes, they go, oh, yeah. So they get involved in on it too. And then it's a whole, everyone knows where we're at. Everyone's working, and then everyone's on the same sort of goal and lifestyle, because it's far better for everyone around you.
It's 100% essential. It really is for a long-term sustainable change. Like we could have presented the craziest, stupidest, most idiotic diet there is, and people look at something which is really crazy and go, that'll work. It's so left field. It's so nuts. It's going to work. And then you try and bring that into the household. And again, they might entertain the idea for night 1, night 2. By night 3, it's like, no, you're doing your own thing. We're doing our thing. And then if you start preparing different meals in the house and all this sort of stuff, again, it just makes things a pain in the ass. The other thing that it does, then it has kids ask questions. Why is dad eating that food? Oh, that's so he can get healthy. Does that mean then the food that we eat is not healthy? And I believe that then starts to foster bad relationships between food and children from a very early age. So this way, to have them on board not only is giving you the support that you need, but it just goes to show that then what you're doing and taking that information and the way in which you're applying it is working for everyone. And if it works for everyone, it wins. And I think, again, like one of the things that works the most is like when we first started, because I know like the other plan was going to be going back to the box, because you said that you had, no motivation to train at home, which is cool. Because I think a big part about this is firstly understanding what motivation really is. But if you want to see the people and it's a better environment, so be it. But we had to start at home for a couple of weeks because the box was closed, and, better than nothing. And the funny thing is, it's something that's developed into its own animal. You know what I mean? Like, and the fact that you and Kareena are training together and doing all that. Like, I remember from our first conversation, it's like, you'll go to the box and do your thing. She'll go do her thing. But now, like, that's one of the biggest wins there is.
And we found too, like, we went away, what did we spend? 7 days on the Gold Coast. And I took my training gear with me because I used the bands. I trained up there as like I trained here, and was the same thing again. We get up, the kids are still there, they were sleeping, they're on holidays, fair enough. We go do our exercise, go for a walk down the beach, and then it was all done, come back, and they'd go, "Oh, you're back," and that was it. And it was easy, like, and you're out walking, on the Gold Coast down the beach at 7 o'clock in the morning, and it was easy, and it wasn't, everyone, and they go, "Oh, right."
We often build up this perception of how hard things are going to be. And the reality is, the irony is, if you make the decision to just simply start embracing a better lifestyle, then you'll turn around and go, it was a lot simpler, it was a lot easier, and it's a lot more sustainable than I thought it was ever going to be.
Yeah.
Because again, like, you can answer honestly, like, did you have a perception at the start of how hard things were going to be?
In my head, I did. In my head, I'm thinking, when I first signed up, I come home from our meeting and that, and then I said to Kareena, "Shit, what have I got myself into?" Like, and that's the honest feeling. What have I got myself into? This bloke's gonna, like, realistically, this bloke's gonna kill me. Like, that's how it's, when you take it on, you go, "Oh shit, what have I got myself into?" But when you get on board and it starts to happen, and then and it's not just banging it into you. You got to make the choice yourself. Like, you guide us and you do that one there, and you've got to make choices yourself. And, it's like you keep, we're funneling in the information, and we're getting the right direction. You've got plenty of paths to take, but you can keep following direction. I said to Kareena, well, this is all right. And that's why we went to training at home, because what I thought was the gym and that one there, when we went, oh, well, we've been training at home for 3 weeks and it's working, to then, and to have time. So that was the other time thing. Like, you go, oh, if I go to the gym, I've got to go from work to the gym because I live 20 minutes out of town. So I'd wait to go to there. Then you've got, it was what, an hour and a bit there. Then you got another 20 minutes home, and then you're not at home at all. So and that had to be, well, at the moment I train 3 days a week now. That was, and I do, what's that work? What do you say? 40 minutes every time. So that's 100.
You round up to 2 hours.
120 minutes. I've already lost 2 hours or 2.5 hours at the first session at a gym.
Yeah.
By the time I get there and back and home, and I go, oh, well, by the time the end of the week, there's 6 or 7 hours gone when I've only spent an hour and 20 minutes at home.
Crazy, isn't it?
And then you go, oh, well, you work that out. How much time have you got? You got extra time. And as you're sitting at this end now, like, what was the reality? Like, did you find it hard? Did you find it in that regard? No, because once I started to move, like don't worry, the 30 or 40 minutes you do it, I leave it absolutely spent. Like, and the first few times I go, Kareena, I think I'm going to have a heart attack. Like, and it wasn't, but you get back into the moving and you start doing it and you go, oh, I'm going right here. And then obviously you change, I have bands, so to change the color of the band gets a bit hard. Oh, that's all right. But you still keep doing it, and it just gets easier and easier and easier. Well, now I'm on to my 3rd band, and it's the thicker one that I've got. I've actually got to go and get more.
Yep.
And I still leave it, drenched in sweat and because you're still going hung, but you're doing more, and it becomes that much easier. Like, and it's not, oh, well, it's going to take me 7 weeks to get this down pat to move easier and be easier. It actually happened a lot quicker than that. Like, once you'd done it and then got through week 1 where we done the 3 sessions, oh, well, that wasn't too bad. And then so then by week 3, you were just smashing it.
Like you're always trying to make things, and you want to progress them forward. But I just want to kind of jump in, because there'll be guys that are watching this now and they're going to be sitting there going, just tell us about the workouts. What did you do during the workout? And the reality is the workout themselves are of lesser importance than it is with everything else that you said. The consistency, the routine, the showing up, the getting it done, making the decision, challenging yourself, but then also too, continuing to build upon that family unit. You know what I mean? Like, you could have quite easily have made the decision and said, no, I'm going to go to the gym. And in this instance, there is no right or wrong answer, because if that's what you wanted to have done, then you would have done it. And it's still the right answer. You know what I mean? So we all make decisions. But as I said, like, a lot of, like, we could be sitting back now going, so Brett, like, what was the workout? Tell us the workout, because I want to follow the workout exactly, because that's obviously what's giving you the results. It wasn't
the workout.
But the bigger picture is the lifestyle that you're building.
And that's, and to be honest, mine wasn't the training. Like, yes, it's part of it, and you have to do it to move and whatever else. But that's only one part of the jigsaw. Like, the whole jigsaw is what we've said along: accountability, lifestyle, choices that you make become, and like, it's all the other little things, like being accountable, and you write things down, and then you go, oh, well, that's where I am there, and that's what I've done there. And then every week, like, we get to Saturday and you're going, oh shit, I'm looking at them going, wonder if, and you're looking at yourself, and that's what we do. Like, because we took the pictures, and I've got the pictures on a pin board and that there, and then I've got the pictures on my phone, and you look at it and go, oh, have I done anything? Oh, don't know. And I think we got to about week, I don't know, when we take a photo.
It was about week 6 when I noticed it, when we're chatting like this, and I asked you to hold you. I took a headshot of you, and I compared the photos.
Yeah. So, and then, and then it starts hitting, well, really, okay, maybe it is, and it is working. And then other people start to comment, and I haven't told anyone. I didn't go out to anyone and say, I'm on a diet, I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. I just went about what I done, and I do my thing, and people would say, oh, do you want a beer? No, I'm right, mate. That's all right. I'm not having one at the moment. Go out somewhere. We were still going out to tea. We go out Friday nights over to the pub. It's just about, we still do all the things that we we're doing before, but all the little things. Yes, we exercise 3 times a week, but there's all the little things that are easy to do, accountability, watching what you're doing. And that's how it works. Like, and my program never changed. It's there that, people want to go there, and then they go, oh, I've done this, I've got to change that at gym, I've got to do that. You don't have to. Like you said, it's not about the exercise program. It's about the whole, we're in the whole lifestyle, the whole.
It is like we're dialing a program in that's going to suit your goals and your lifestyle, your abilities, what you've got at home and so forth. But again, like, it's very easy to sit back and go, I need to lose this, I need to lose weight, I need a diet and exercise program. And it's like, they're just the tools. They're the tools. What are the tools going to do? What's the problem to start with? What's the problem? It's like, why are you in this position today? What is it about your lifestyle and the choices that you make? You know what I mean? And like, sometimes guys can struggle if they're trying to jump on the latest program or diet or whatever without making a decision. And I'm really big on this, because if you make the decision to change your lifestyle and just become a better version of yourself, then everything does become simpler, it's easier, and it's more sustainable.
And it's one of those things, like, there's nothing different in my pantry. The kids still have their little packets of chips to take to school, the little things, and I used to take all them too, but I don't need them now. And that's where we look at it and go, oh, there's nothing different in our pantry than what was there before, except from we're not having Coke with the sugar in it, we're on Coke Zero. My lifestyle hasn't changed. We still go out to tea, we still do those things, but you look at it and go, oh, okay, well, what am I going to be like? the kids, the other week was one of the kids' birthdays. We went out to tea at the SSNA, had tea there. The kids wanted dessert. Went down your Monumental ice cream. I didn't have to eat ice cream. I never had any. I didn't eat it. So I just had tea.
Did you miss out?
No. I sat there with them. They ate theirs. Oh, what do you got? You know, they walk out with their cups and all the things with it in it. I never missed out. The kids are there. They go, hey, do you want something? No, I'm not. I don't.
That's the thing. Like when we're following an arduous diet, we just sit there kind of licking our lips going, oh my God, I want that. I want that. I want ice cream. I can't have it. I mean, it's not on my plan to eat it. But again, like I've never said you can't have ice cream. No. I've never said you can't have little packets of chips out of the cupboard. It's just that if you do have these things and if you want to mix things up, we've just got to be accountable to it.
It's like what you said. What do you want to eat? Tell me what you want to eat, and I'll tell you how to do it.
Eat it.
So I could have said all these things that I wanted to eat. You would have just so not once have you said, don't eat this, don't eat that. You've just said, tell me what you want to eat. And we did. And and through that, I've learned, oh, well, we eat this, we eat that, and had a look at where you said this is what an idea of what you should do, and that one there, and it worked. Like I went from eating 3 times a day, maybe, to now I have 4 or 5 small meals over the period, which gives me more. I'm not just eating in a big block, feeling like crap, going another 5 hours, starving at the end again, then just consuming. And then now I come home, as I said, like you go back to the food nutrition plan that we had early on, you have a look at what you ate then to now, it's vastly different.
And that's what I mean. That's why I'm really big on accountability.
But there's probably more food on. That's probably not a way. There might be more food on it now. It's not saying more. There's better food on it, but it's the plan in which you eat.
It's understanding the energy of food.
Yeah, that's right.
Not just the volume.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So it's and you've pointed. When I've said, oh, I want to eat this and I want to eat that, so then you go, oh, well, you have that there and we have that, and you put that with that, that gives you something else. You go, oh, well, I never thought of doing that before. So it opens your eyes up to that. So then so then that's only, like you say, that's one part of it. Exercise, one part of it. Lifestyle's the other part. Accountability and organisation is, and that's what I found. Like a good example was last week I said to you, I didn't get my shit together on a Sunday. So then come Tuesday, I didn't have the things I needed. So then I had to eat on the run. Well, then I come home that night, I'd been to the supermarket, I bought my food, and I planned my meals and made my meals every day since, because whereas before you go, oh no, it's too hard. Everything was too hard to do. You just take the easy option of going into the takeaway shop. You learn, and then you go, oh, you feel shit because you let that happen, because your lifestyle's changed from where you were to where I am now. That made me feel shit that I didn't get my shit together and organised, to now get organised, and it happens. So, and it's good now. My daughter eats roast chicken sandwiches. That's what she has for lunch.
Wow.
So I make her lunch and I make my lunch. And whereas before, Kareena would make all their lunch in the morning, I make Kareena's lunch now. So if I'm making a salad and chicken, that's what she's getting for lunch too.
What do they say? Happy wife, happy life.
That's right. And she thinks it's awesome because she gets more time for herself now too, because I've already made lunch.
Yeah.
I made her lunch and the kids' lunch.
Yeah. Let me kind of jump in there. Let me jump in for a second, because I get a lot of guys who will sit back and they'll go, oh, look, I need to do something. I really need to do this, but you know what? I got to go home. I got to talk to my wife, and then I'll turn back and I'll go, oh, no. She said I'm not allowed to do it. I'm yet to meet any wife or partner who doesn't want their husband to now turn around and make them lunch every day. You know what I mean? It's like, and oh man, we could talk for hours. Like we could just keep unpacking this, because again, there's so many things just listening to you that I'm actually learning myself. You know what I mean? About this whole journey for you, right? Because, I want you to be accountable. I want you to be consistent, all that sort of stuff. But again, it's the day-to-day micro decisions and micro challenges and the micro wins that we have. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, what's the fastest way to get the family on board is to get them involved, but not only in the aspect of, okay, I'm doing this program, so you lot need to do X, Y, Z for me. Rather, what I'm doing is I'm doing X, Y, Z for you. And it's two parts. Like, you're probably doing a number one because it's easy, it's simple. I'm here, I'm doing it for myself. But then what it's really doing then also too is, cementing the ideals in with them. It's better nutritional habits with the kids. Kareena's loving it. Hey, you're making her lunch. It means that she's got more time in the morning. She's not making her lunch and everyone else's lunches. And so many wins, man.
And it's not like, when I look back at it, and I'm not. It's one of the things I do 60 hours a week, nearly every week, and that's just what it involves. So the difference between 60 hours a week last year to 60 hours a week now, if Kareena walked in here and you asked her, okay, what's the difference between 60 hours last week and 60 hours, last year to this year, she'll give you the answer. Like, that's, I don't have to give the answer either. She can come in out of blue, and I can get her to come in here now, and you could ask her the question, and she'll answer it, an impromptu question. I can do that for you now if you want.
You want? You can drag her in.
All right, hang on, wait there.
All right.
Kareena.
How awesome is this? Seriously. Oh, you guys think it's all just about diet and training? There's so much more.
My daughter's just gone to grab her. Can't find mum.
Oh, that's all right. Putting her on the spot now.
But that's, and that'll give you the answer like that. And I could tell you all the things, but then if she comes in and she goes, this is what it is, that's how much the lifestyle is different. She'll tell you how much it's different, how much, and at the end of the day, she hasn't had to do anything. Like, that's, in the end, she hasn't had to do anything.
Again,
her life's got easier.
This is collateral benefits.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? And like, you can't motivate people to change in that regard. And if you want change within the lifestyle, within the household, you can only lead. That's it. And then hopefully they pick it up. And as I said, like, you bring in a diet per se, which is not going to gel. Let's just say you want to lose weight, you got to have to do an intermittent ketogenic diet. What a pain in the butt. Seriously. Yeah. And in the end, it's like, okay, family, I'm really serious on this. So this is what we're eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So you're then trying to force that change. It's not a matter of if it fails. It's a matter of when you stop and apologize and beg for forgiveness for never doing that and never doing anything that's so crazy again. But to have them on board in that regard. And again, they're getting benefits, not only, and they're not asking for it. They're getting benefits, not just in terms of your own progress, but the fact of it's directly benefiting them.
Yeah, that's right.
Hi, Kareena. Right.
Josh.
He's thrown you under the bus. He's put you on the spot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Righto.
So what was the question? It was like, what's Brett like working 60 hours a week now compared to last year? How has it changed? How's he changed?
Yeah, in lots of ways.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I've probably noticed is he's lost the chip on his shoulder. So because he's more confident in himself.
Yeah.
And
she's gone to a whole new level here.
Happier.
All the things I'm learning. Wow.
and happier with who he is as a person. And I think because he doesn't carry as much guilt now about not being able to fill everybody's buckets and do everything. I think because of that, he feels a lot freer. So he's not as angry, if that makes sense, and not as reactive. Yeah. So like we would be like cats on a hot tin roof, the kids and I, about, okay, let's wait till dad walks through the door to see what mood he's in, as to see whether we all go and hide or whether we come out and be involved in the family.
Wow.
Where we don't do that anymore. Yeah. Because he's in check far more with how he responds emotionally. But I think I think he's changed his whole identity of who he is and how he operates as a person.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Does that make sense?
Wow, that's huge. I wasn't expecting all of that. Wow, Brett.
You
Wow.
said 12 months.
Hey.
Well, that's what we're talking. We're talking,
Yeah, 12 months change.
Wow.
Yeah.
but we're talking like different. What Josh and I were talking about, how routines and lifestyles change between 60 hours last year to 60 hours now, in terms of what goes on in lifestyle here. Like I said to Josh, I now make Logan's lunch and I make my lunch. I make your lunch, I make their lunch, like the things like that. And we're talking about time, even your time to what our lifestyle is now.
So he's no longer a passenger in the family. He is actually a contributor in the family, if that makes sense.
Gold star. Gold
So
star.
our relationship,
You
like
know
every
what? And let me jump in for a second. So we're talking before on how he does everything, like in that regard, like he's trying to do everything for everyone and for you and for the kids and all that sort of stuff, busting his rump. And then you've just said he's no longer a passenger. So as he was busting his ass, his perception is I'm doing everything for everyone. He really wasn't. But on the flip side now, by being able to look after himself, is still doing more and is then appreciated on a whole new level.
Yeah, because beforehand he was ticking boxes. So beforehand he was fulfilling what he was conditioned to think was his definition of what it was to be a dad and to be a husband, which was very much connected to his upbringing. And that's what I meant by the chip on his shoulder. Like when you look at what his mum and dad, like his dad is a passenger in the relationship. So he grew up with that modeling. So I felt I was always saying to him, this is not normal. Like what you've been modeled is not normal. And you're going along ticking boxes with this idea of I've got to be the breadwinner. I've got to work all these hours and bring in all the money. I've got to earn the most amount of money. I've got to be doing all these things because then I'm the man. Like I'm the man in the house. But what he lost in trying to achieve that was connection, and connection in the relationship, because he was never fully present.
Wow.
Whereas now he's still working the 60 hours, but when he's home, he's fully present. So he's connecting and building relationships. And it's all because he's far more confident now with who he is as a person. And he's changed, and his identity has changed. He does, that idea of having to be the breadwinner, he sort of previously had this definition of, well, to be the man of the family, I've got to work a heap of hours and I've got to bring home, at least $2,000, a fortnight, because then people will think I'm something and I'm someone and I won't be just a dumb school dropout. But in trying to do that and fulfill that chip on his shoulder, he lost the connection and the relationships with me and the kids. So now he's turned all that around and he's far more confident with himself. And so, he's a contributor now in the family and not a passenger. So his definition and his identity of what it means now to be a dad and to be a husband and to be connected and real and present with people and even with himself is different to what it used to be.
Wow.
So you've got it. That's what I mean about getting a different perspective. I could sit here and say the things, but then the lifestyle and the family stuff, it can't come from me. And as I said, she never knew this question was coming. You asked the question, we just brought her in. So you get
this chat.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why I said, we bring her in and I ask her, I can give you the answers for an hour and a half, but then you get someone else's perspective that lives in the same lifestyle and setting. Well, you get more of what we're getting out of.
And that's,
as we said, if it's not just diet and exercise. It's the whole, like we said, the whole building blocks and the whole puzzle goes together.
They're just
Is
very
what you've
powerful
taught us.
tools. They're very, very powerful tools. The way in which
That's
we
right.
articulate the challenges and all the problems and all the stuff that we're going through, we tend to articulate it to a number, to a weight, to a size, because it's the way in which we've been conditioned.
But I think too, even if I hadn't lost the weight, like that's a bonus at this stage. Like that, you know, the weight loss is a bonus. It's the big, you know, it's like the jackpot at the end of the rainbow. Like that's what it is. If I hadn't have lost any weight, but my lifestyle changed and we got these things happening, like the little steps. Yes, you are going to lose weight, but you're heading in that direction and the lifestyle's changing. I still think in time, then the weight would come off. Like you're teaching yourself, you know, and there's others in the course too. I don't know where they are, but you could see the changes. You know, they mightn't have happened as quick as what I did, but I still think if I hadn't have still dropped the weight, I still would have been on a goal to keep progressing.
We're all
on a journey to go there.
Our journeys are all individual. We all have different
That's right.
challenges, different obstacles, different goals and things like that. The actual weight loss itself becomes the measured result of practical application. Because again, we're practically applying something. This isn't all just theory based because we want to put the measures into place. And we need to have levels of consistency and accountability to be able to track progress. And if we look at it in regards to like the way we eat and the way we move, they're the only tools that we've really got that allows us to create an outcome. And then if we go back to the start and think in terms of the excess weight that we carry is just simply a symptom that our lifestyle is somewhat shit for the result that we want. Poor choices, inconsistent choice. And that's it. So what we're really trying to do again is just control those controllables. The thing is we tend to articulate the struggles that we're going through to a number, i.e., if I lose 10 kilos, lose 15 kilos, I'm going to feel better. And you will feel better. Like if you lose 15 kilos, you're going to have less weight that you're carrying around. You're going to feel better. But then what the real goal in all of this is then to be able to achieve and to see the results that are not easily as measured. I have no idea how we could have measured what the chip on your shoulder would have been. You know what I mean? Just as an example.
Yeah.
How do you measure the
right.
level in which someone contributes? Because again, if that was even presented 3 months ago, there may have been a different reaction. You know what I mean? So it's not even a way in which you could measure that. How do you measure that each week? How do you feel like you're contributing each week on a scale of 1 to 10? We can't. There is no way of doing it.
That's the perception too of what I seen as contribution, and I'm running around doing everything for everybody else, and I'm doing this and doing that, and I don't have time for that, is a vastly different perception, to what Kareena sees.
Yeah.
And then in the end, she's going, well, really, you weren't doing anything. You're laying on the lounge, you're just asleep.
Yep.
You would just do the things you had to do to tick a box there, but then nothing else was done. Whereas then she's doing everything.
Yeah.
And then, so then her lifestyle is changing because she's doing everything and I'm doing what I think's everything, which is nearly nothing. To then now, like we spoke before she come in, I think she has more time to do her things because I am contributing and doing the things. So
isn't it crazy?
You know,
in reality, the things that have set your wall free is being a little selfish and putting yourself first.
Well, and that's at the end of the day,
which is really the most selfless thing that you can do, because it's what it's allowing you to do is improved, and it allows everyone else around to not only get more of you, but then gives them the ability to improve as well. And you know the funny thing, this whole conversation, we haven't even touched on a number yet or a weight, but just to throw it out there, 13.5 kilos in 9 weeks.
Yeah.
That just happened to vanish. And as and again, like there is more to come, but just in terms of like a practical measurement, like, that's nothing to sneeze at. That's crazy. It's crazy. Awesome.
Actually, you can talk to Kareena for a minute. I'll show you something.
Okay.
Hi. She'll give you more insight.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
More we're going to talk. We'll talk about him.
Talk about him behind his back.
Hey, so how you doing? You doing good?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
He's
Yeah,
good.
no.
He's a good egg. He's a good egg.
Yeah, he is. And he's I think I've always felt like I like in my journey, I've always been a person that is very self-reflective and is always like striving to do, and like it comes with the line of work I'm in. Like, so I do well-being at school. So you're always looking, on this journey of life improving. But I felt like he was never on board with that.
Yep.
But now I feel like he is on board with that.
Yep.
If that makes sense.
No, 100%.
Yeah. So
that's what I mean. So then it's even more greater connection at home.
Correct. Yeah, definitely.
So a good example was when I was at my doctor, which was 12, 18 months ago.
Yeah.
And he was saying, oh, we need to lose weight because you had to do I'm 45, had to do the men's health checking it there.
Yep.
He goes, oh, just walk for now. So that was all right. So then he said, we're not going to do any measurements. I just want to do belt sizes. So when I was at the doctor, when we started in January, was on hole 1.
Yep.
That's where I was when we started. So I'd been to the doctor and I hadn't done anything. So then we started here.
That was another one of my big frustrations. He's like, oh, I'll go to the doctor and get a health checkup, and then it was always, and then I'll start. There was always
just
something.
presenting another excuse.
Correct. And I was like, oh, God damn these excuses.
Yep. So when we come back to measurement, that's where I started on hole 1 on my belt.
Yep.
There's hole 2.
Yep.
There's hole 3.
Yep.
There's hole 4.
Yep.
And now I'm back to here.
Awesome.
That's where I'm starting now. So that's, you work that out in terms of that one there.
And see, that's what's putting years back on your life.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And not just years in terms of a chronological time, but quality years, as you said it before. They're putting quality back on.
And we had the other example of they were the shorts that I was in, because they all do this on those weight programs, they get the shorts and they say that's how big they were. So that's how big they were. And they were getting tight. So then now, and these were what I had before.
Wow.
And I actually had to put a belt on with them. So
it's a massive difference.
So that's the shorts, and they were tight. These big ones were tight. And now I've actually got to wear a belt with these ones. And I might read like as before when I was skinnier, and that was like what what's his name that was in the course? Christian, he said about fitting into a pair of shorts. And I said to Kareena, well, here we are. And then, that's what I look at. And you go, well, if people want measurements, and that's not even by looking on a scale or anything. It's just,
you know what? They're the real measurements. They're the real measurements. Things like, having energy in the morning, or having confidence, or having stamina, or whatever. I can't measure that. You know what I mean? I can't measure it. I can measure a scale, I can measure a tape, I can get an appreciation, we can actually show progress. But again, it's the real stuff. It's that. And it's also it's the feeling of when you wake up in the morning to go put a pair of jeans on and they fall down, or having to go out to the kitchen and get the knife and make another hole in the belt. Like that's the feeling. And it's like, you know what? Why is this now working?
That's the stage where I was getting a new belt because there's nothing on this one. It wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
But now we're back to might have to get a smaller one.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Like the process can happen very, very quick. If you remove the reasons why there is the challenge in the first place and you change it from that, you don't deal with the symptom, because this has never just been about we're going on a weight loss diet. This is all about weight loss and go buy weight loss supplements. We're doing a weight loss program. It all comes down to you just got to be able to fix your shit. What is it? What contributed to the lifestyle that puts you there? We've got to identify it and fix it. Because then if you remove the reason it's there, the weight will never come back. And you'll lose it relatively quickly. And again, that's not anything about a quick fix or anything like that. You're just simply removing the reason of why it's being sustained. That's it.
And one of the things that you've developed in Brett that he didn't have before, that isn't a tangible thing that you can quantify, is his level of self-awareness. So beforehand, I would be saying to him, you've got to do something. You've got to do something. Like the reason you're cracking the shits when you've got to pack the back of the ute to go to a horse event or to go away camping is because it's difficult because you're overweight. And he would get the shits at me. Oh, yeah, I'm just a fat bastard, aren't I? And we'd have an argument about it. And he'd get the shits at me because he never sort of viewed himself as being overweight. He didn't have that level of self-awareness that there was really an issue he had to address, or he didn't have the level of self-awareness to want to go there and address the issue. Whereas now, like as when you had the first session and you took the photos, that was the best thing ever, because he came home and he said, I didn't realize I was as big as I was until I looked at those photos. Like
you got to print them out. Yeah, look at them.
Yeah. So that level of self-awareness from that first day to now has grown immensely because he checks himself. We'll be doing the grocery shopping together and he'll check packaging and look at things and work out, and so it's not just that level of knowledge of content, it's the level of knowledge of self-awareness about the decisions I make and my identity and how I want to define myself as a person. That's the stuff that creates the behavior change.
It's almost
permanently.
like putting yourself back in the game.
Yeah.
It's like the whole game of life that it's been. It's like, I'm just checking out. I'm going to sit on the sidelines. I don't necessarily want to contribute. I'm just going to kind of run along with the edge, and kind of do what everyone else is doing. But now it's like, right, I'm back in.
Yeah. And that's like, it was an effort. Like, it's actually funny when you go, like, because I was as big as what I was, how you adapt your body to do things because you're that big.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm serious. Like, I mean, like tying your shoes, doing things, like you've got to do something or whatever else. And I'm serious, and she's giggling about this.
No.
So, what you have to
say, the reason I'm giggling out, we did have a conversation about how much easier it is to make love because he's not over. Oh shit! Sorry.
That's all right. No, it's going. It'll go live to the world. Thanks, Kareena. No, but you're 100% true.
Yeah.
It's like an injury. You know what I mean? You got a sore foot. You will find a way to adapt. Now, I tell you something, and you may have already been experiencing this, but you will. All the habits that you've had, so you've developed, like we develop habits, right? It could be little things like, or an ability, say running up a set of stairs, right? You'll start doing those things that you used to do that were normal activity, that as the weight packed on, you could no longer do. And you will start doing them again. And it could be something as simple like running up a flight of stairs. And you'll just do it one day, you'll get to the top of the stairs and you'll turn around and stand there and go, what did I just do? Because there'll be no thought process. There'll be no sitting there thinking at the bottom going, all right, I'm going to try these stairs today. I'm going to see how I'm going to go. You will just do it. Or it could be something like loading a car or doing whatever. And you will literally just be sitting. It's like, oh my God. It'll be like tying your shoes up. You'll find little unique quirks on how to get down and how to put your foot up to do the laces up. And all of a sudden now you'll just be bending forward and doing your shoelace up. And you'll be sitting there going, what the fuck? I haven't done this in 15 years. And
I'll tell you what's an interesting one is we have this thing with the exercise that we're doing is the squats and the lunges.
You're going to throw me under the bus.
Anyway, we have this one there, and they're the killers. Like, they're the killers. And I got this thing at the moment when I'm doing the squats, and I go down, I go, I don't know how I actually done this with 13 kilos still on me, because I've got the shits now when I do them, because the little bit that's left, or the bit that's left, pisses me off, because when you go down, that's what gets in the road.
Yep.
So you're going, fuck, this is annoying. Like, because, but then you think, how did I do this? And you go out to the pantry and you pick up 2 5-kilo bags of potatoes and say, well, I had that plus a bit more. How did I bend over and do these?
Yeah.
And You know, and that's the example that I can give people.
You found a way to do it because you're so blind from the truth that ignored it and didn't want to take ownership and accountability and played poor me and just presented every excuse in the sun that it wasn't a problem. I don't need to do my shoe up like this. I can put my foot this way and do it up. I don't need to wipe my butt this way. I can do it this way. We just create these excuses. We create it, like the human body just adapts, be it to an injury, be it overweight.
Looking at it now, because I was 95 kilos when I started at the job I'm at now, that was 10 years ago. Kareena said, she said, "Oh, you're going to keep exercising?" "Oh, no, I'm going all right. I won't get over 100. I'll kick in then." So I got to 100. "Oh, you're going to do any exercise? You want to go back doing what you're doing before else?" "Oh, no, I'm going all right. I still feel pretty good. 105. If it gets to 105, got to 110, got to 115, got to 120. And I think the doctor measured me at 122. So, that's the thing where you keep making excuses from where I was.
That's just changing the acceptable goalpost. Deal with it later. Deal with it later. Deal with it later. Yeah, there is no later.
No, the later, and it's one of them ones now, because when I went to the doctor at 122 kilos, he said, "You've got blood pressure," and I've never had blood pressure. Like I never, so I went and had the calcium score, which tests your heart. Best $75 you ever spent. Had that. No, that's okay. But you've got blood pressure. It's through the roof. I can't remember what it was, but it was through the roof. And he goes, "Oh, how do you find doing things?" And I go, "Well, I just do it." Whereas now I'm trying to get back into it because I think I might be at the other end of the spectrum, that my blood pressure might actually be.
It'll be a lot better.
Because I have this thing where I've never weeded the garden. I've never bent over and weeded the garden because it's too hard. I went out and weeded the garden, and every time I put my head down, I get giddy. And I think that's because I've got low blood pressure. So we're trying to get back into it. It could be a symptom of it. But, these are the things that, I'm 45, there's not that long, they say men over 40, you start falling into all these other categories of, type 2 diabetes, heart attacks, all the other things. Is that, until you got to look at it, is that fair on these? If, because you haven't done what you need to do or look after you, like at the end of the day, it's what we said. You've got to do something for you. So if I don't look after myself, is it fair on them if I have a heart attack at 47 because I didn't look after myself?
It's a distorted perception of selfishness. So he was thinking he was being selfish if he put himself first, where I'm sitting back going, well, you're selfish by sitting there becoming fat and not being able to get in the game of life with me and the kids.
Yeah. And that's why it's actually one of the things I really hammer home, because it's a perception. It's a perception. Like if you are only like 50% of your potential, even if you're giving you 110% of your best effort every single day, but if you're only rocking up to half potential and you're good with that, you're happy with that, then isn't that selfish? You're happy for a family to only get half of what you could possibly give. You're only happy for your work to get dregs. So that's what I mean by making that shift. And it's like, you know what? Because every situation and circumstance, I show up at that. So if I'm just going to improve, then by default, my 100% of 80% is going to be better than my 100% of 50% was. So everything is going to benefit. Family, work, self. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. We better wrap this up. Like, we've been chatting for over an hour, I think. No one's going to sit and watch it this long. We'll have to cut it up. But like, seriously, like, do you have any final words? Any final words?
No, like, I've got lots for you. I said to coach, I sit down, I come in on Monday and meet Kareena, I've got my meeting tonight. Like, nothing else matters on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, mate. I'm in ready to sit down, and he goes, I'm sitting here going, is there anything on? He'll be here in a minute. He's just trying to get the stuff on his screen sorted. So he's right.
Doing the tension.
And then I was reading the one the other day when you said who wants to lose weight till like the next one, like you've got the next one starting. Uh-huh. What if I go on that one?
Yeah, you
Like,
got the tools. You got the tools.
like it's just that, like it's enjoyable
Mm.
to be here. Like, and it's not, I don't just say that because we're here. I really enjoy it, and I've really enjoyed the whole when you go on a journey before and you think it's just you and me, but then when we have the Zoom on a Wednesday and everyone's there having a chat, it's been absolutely hilarious.
Cool.
Like I said to Kareena, we left last week. I said, Matt's from Horsham and he's absolutely hilarious. Like he just says it how it is. And Tash and Christian, like it's a whole, and everyone talks about little things. And that's what was so good about the Wednesday catch up, where we just, what I might be struggling with, someone, you don't have to give the answer because someone else in the group has learnt something
Yep.
that I haven't picked up on, and they actually give you the answer.
Cool.
Like I learnt from Tash, I learnt from Christian, and then even Matt, who's been in the last couple because he's been busy. I was telling Kareena about the killer pythons, the muscle lollies, and his kids and his family changing there. Like everyone's little wins turn into big wins for everyone else in the group, because we're actually going, oh shit, I went through that 2 weeks ago.
Mm.
Oh yeah. And then like Tash said the other week, I just wanted to eat the other day. I just wanted to eat and eat and eat. Well, a week after that, I had the day where I could have just ate and ate and ate and ate and ate. And I went, oh, well, now I know what Tash was talking about. Like
we think it's an individual path. You know what I mean?
But it's not.
We honestly sit back and we think no one actually understands exactly what I'm going through. Yeah. And the reality is, it's like, oh, I get it. I appreciate the path and all that sort of stuff. But then there's others who have walked it as well and walk it at the same time. Like, so there's a lot of similarities to that. But then also too, even with you personally, like it's not just an individual journey, because it involves Kareena, it involves the kids, it involves everything. Yeah, it's that synergism. Yeah. So that's cool.
It's awesome. Like
it's been a good thing.
It's awesome. I just don't know how to, what's the word? Put it out there to other people to go, this is what you want to do. Like, well,
look, you know what? Just by what you said then, you said it. The truth is you can't motivate. And I really wish I could. I wish I could have a pill and sit there and take this, or if I was Dave Goggins or someone like that. You can't motivate. And if you think about all the different things that you've done in the past and all the different attempts, imagine if I came into your lifestyle 3 years ago when you were 105, changing your goalpost to 110, everything will be sweet, mate. It's no dramas. We wouldn't be doing this. That's the reality. I
wish you had been there when I was 16, 17, 18.
Yeah, but even saying that, it just requires for you, because you were ready, and I suppose that's what I'm getting at. You were ready, so we can stand up on top of the hill and scream at everyone and go, "You've got to do this. You've got to do this." But again, there's a lot of people who are still in denial. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm okay as it is. I'm carrying a little bit of weight, but that's fine. She still loves me. I'm still doing all the work at home. It's all good. I'm showing up. But we need to be at that position. And it's the same reason why in my 5-step, my framework training that I put out, and it's the first lesson that we cover through all of this, it's ownership. That's the number one lesson. You've got to be in a position where you're just drawing a line in the sand and say, you know what? I'm done with this lifestyle. I'm calling myself out of my own bullshit. That's it. I'm calling myself out. No more excuses, no more crap. I'm not going to sit home and go, yeah, look, I really need to do something, but I got to go talk to the wife first to see if she lets me do it. It's a saying I love at the moment. It's better to ask for forgiveness than beg for permission. But really, I'll tell anyone who's listening, this is the truth. It is a bullshit excuse, because I've never met one wife ever who has ever said, honey, I really wish you don't do this, and you don't improve, and you don't get happy, and you don't get healthy, and you don't become the person I married. Never met that woman yet. You know what I mean? So we could all sit here until we're blue in the face and go, you need to do it, but the person needs to be ready. So if you are ready, if you are watching this, then please reach out. I'm happy to chat. Please take Brett's lead. Please listen to everything Kareena has shared. We'll go from there. So I'll hit the stop. Thanks, guys, but don't disappear just yet. So again, Josh, Physique Essentials. Hope you've listened to all of this. Take his lead, run with it. We'll talk soon. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Josh.